Blow into town, turn everything upside down, then blow right back out again. What else is new? Got a minute?
Hang on here.
Since 1992.
I went through the East Africa report again last night. There's been a change since we sent it to you for approval. The CIA redacted.
All right, so I've got a indexer
the redacted portion
that I've made, and I'm going to use the Liming file and Arduino for a 4th axis index. This system here is a NEMA 23 motor and a gear reduction box with a pulley that further reduces it. So I've got a 60-to-1 ratio coming out of here. I'm not quite finished with it. I've got a cover on the belt. I'll figure a cover for this for the driver yet.
Are you asking me a question, or is this a setup?
I've got the program in the handheld. I'm waiting for a thrust bearing from the back here. I've apparently misplaced it. So I had this dividing head I got off of eBay, and the seller did not supply me with the crank and some of the pieces necessary to make it functional. And when I contacted them, they assured me they were going to get them and they were going to have to come from China, and then I'd have to wait 2 months. Well, sure enough, that 2-month wait was I was taken advantage of, obviously, because eBay's limit. I could have probably resorted to PayPal, but whatever. So I ended up just taking this housing, and I machined the housing out inside. Had to take a considerable amount of material out to put a 48-tooth HCD 5M pulley inside here, so a very large pulley that I did keyway and put it on the shaft and everything. So it all works out pretty well. I do have to take this plug here because it will hit the belt drive if I leave. It's the magnetic plug, so I do have to take this and machine this down or put a shorter plug in there. It does still have the manual brake function on there, and I had a disc brake for this, and I'll probably still go ahead and put one on, but I ended up using it on my lathe, and as you can see in some of the videos I have. So we'll see how it works without a disc brake. This thing's, I mean, you can't turn it. It's pretty solid. We'll see how it works under load. I did have to take the face of this off and cut that out a little bit more so that I could fit my pallet plate on. Now I do have, obviously you can see it's the 1.5 inch threaded. I do have a lathe chuck for it, and then I went ahead and got a backing plate, an 8-inch backing plate that I machined down, and an 8-inch round section of plate of aluminum here. Hang on here.
He said you rejected him. That you treated him.
Apologies, I gotta set this down now.
You're saying that maybe he misunderstood. No, he was very clear. It was a while ago. But it happened.
Sorry, that was too heavy to try to do one-handed here.
That would be the worst thing.
So I've got it set up, and you can see, let's see if I can get the camera in there.
So he didn't even try. Instead, he
Just got enough clearance.
went to sleep.
And she focuses in there. So he's got just enough clearance that she clears. Got enough clearance on the bottom side she clears. Now, I do plan to put a riser plate underneath here. That's another thing I'm going to do. And then I have a tailstock assembly. I'll put a matching riser plate under there. I'll cut it from the same material. But this gives me a lot of options here, and I can still tilt this up 90 degrees. I went ahead and machined a little bit of a, well, the focus is just terrible on this for some reason. I apologize. I'll try to get that fixed next time. I machined a recess here to just alleviate a little bit of clearance there so that I could still, everything rotates just fine. And there's plenty of clearance all the way around for it to rotate. So it really works out well. I don't know if this is a project you'd want to build yourself, just because of what you can buy from the pre-made Chinese ones. Although I would say this is probably a lot more heavy duty. I mean, it uses a very sizable 72 millimeter, I believe, tapered roller bearing in there. It's just like a standard spindle bearing. I think these are probably $80 off of AliExpress, something like that. $13. I had this material here, you know, who knows what I paid for the backing plate, another $50 and probably $30 for that aluminum. And then originally this was a $250 kit that was shorted, so you guys can add it up. It's not cheap, but it's going to be very versatile, and I'll be able to do a lot of different things with it. So I'm real excited about it. I'm going to be using this to also make the components, because I plan to do a 4th, 5th axis with probably harmonic drives. I'm still debating between that and doing a cam-driven setup, but I'm veering more towards a harmonic drive. So I'll probably do two different ones, because I've got 4 mills here, and I want to have different options. So, like, you know, here I can do different things with this one. I'll have a trunnion style on another one. I'll have a tombstone on another one for doing a bunch of small parts, 4 sides. You know, I can, you know, put 5 different parts on each side of the tombstone. That's 20 parts at a time. You know, so, and then I'll have just, you know, your standard 4th, 5th axis harmonic drive with a simple, probably an 8-inch turntable for doing more elaborate parts. Basically, you know, it's essentially, it'll be something like this that'll also, you know, it'll run off of servos and it'll be able to tilt back on its own too. So those are the things that I'm looking at. I've also considered doing a Tormac style rotary dividing head with dual steppers. So who knows what all of them will be like, but that'll give you an idea of what's coming. I do plan to do 4 different ones. I might even do something for the router table. I haven't decided yet. So there you have it. This is part 1. So we'll do part 2 when I get it hooked up here. The handheld right now is on the computer. I've got to add a file to it because I want to touch membrane to be able to work with it. So, and then I've got to set the ratio, and I'm waiting to hear back from one of the other YouTubers that wrote the file, the Liming file. I'm waiting to hear back to see what I have to change to get that 60-to-1 ratio, because I think a software defaulted to 72-to-1, and it was something to that effect. 72-to-1, I think is what it was. And I actually originally went to do 72-to-1, but my 20-tooth, my smaller pulley here, I bored it out too much, so I had to resort to a 24-tooth, so that threw my ratio off a little bit. So simple software change, it'll be a little bit faster, so that works. And I might change it again too. I might end up going with a you know, lowering it down, going, you know, 45-to-1 or something. So we'll see. We'll see whatever works best, how I get the best holding power. Do I need to add a brake? Those kind of things. So we'll get to that when that time comes. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to doing some more for you. If you liked it, go ahead and hit a thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and hit a thumbs down. And if you have any questions about the project that I'm doing, or if there's something that you didn't see, want to see, let me know, and if I get enough requests, I'll go ahead and make that video for you.